Hi, I'm Joe. I play Luke Hammond, the Green Pit Viper Ranger, and the team leader.
Hello, my name is James. I play Charlie Park, the Yellow Housecat Ranger.
And hi, my name is Jay. I'm the lovely DM. I play literally everybody else. Juan, who
Unfortunately,
plays Javier, was not going to be here tonight. So it'll be a very chill, relaxed session, and it probably won't be as long. Joe, it is your time to do the recap.
okay, so we pick up with Charlie and Lord Drakkon, who are trying to escape Axe's ice lair and everything. And we find out, like, we get a little bit of exposition on Lord Drakkon. We find out that he landed on Earth and that Virgil and Axe attacked him. And then he woke up in the ice prison on Terraventure and everything. We see them go through these different teleportation squares, trying to find a way out of this fucked up ice prison thing, and Axe ends up kind of catching up to them after having dealt with Bulk and Skull. R.I.P. in pieces. We appreciate your sacrifice, boys. But to say the least, he is quite pissed. Um, and he is kind of like telling Virgil that Lord Drakkon has escaped. Like we don't he doesn't actually like catch up to Charlie and Drakkon. He just like almost does so, but like they manage to hide and stuff. So that's kind of nice. And then we cut back over to Luke and Javier as they are attempting to find Charlie with Bubbles' help. Bubbles is the big old gorilla void that we freed from the zoo. And so we go back to where the old man was that was trapped in the ice, and he's been recently injured, presumably by Axe for helping us. And we talk with him, and he lets us know that Charlie is down in the depths, in like Axe's lair and everything. So we thank him and we promise him that we're going to take care of stuff, and then we go to find Charlie. And as we are doing so, another boom echoes throughout the area as Orion continues trying to shatter uh the dome that is encapsulating Terraventure. He's getting pretty close. So as we are heading back to find Charlie, Luke gets a vision of him walking around with a shadowy figure. Like, Luke can't tell who is with Charlie. He just knows that they're probably bad news bears. And we end up like finding the spire, the ice spire that they are in, and we are making our way over there to it when we run into a massive security golem, and Bubbles just fucking bodies him and everything. We cut back to Charlie and Drakkon. They hear the roar of Bubbles, and some golems appear inside as well, and they start fighting them. They end up getting away from them, and they come across like a strange room that ends up teleporting them to Axe's throne room. Charlie spots the Magna Defender's armor, and he pays his respects to him, and while he's doing so, he hears an echo from the Magna Defender saying that he has the power to defend others, even though he may not know it yet. And Drakkon, meanwhile, is retrieving Saba, or what used to be Saba, from Axe's throne area, which is like a big old massive like amalgamation of weapons. Think like a la like Game of Thrones, like that. So Drakkon retrieves Saba, but he's missing his head. Like Saba is missing his head. Um, and he kind of just admits to Charlie, like, hey, I'm a bad guy. I don't know if you've picked up on that yet, but I'm kind of like a bastard. And Charlie tries to like talk to him and everything, and it's not really going anywhere. And so Charlie starts to get really frustrated with him. And he's like, I don't want to be with you anymore. I don't want to be around you anymore. Leave me alone. And Drakken's like, dude, I'm gonna help you get out of here alive. Like, I owe you one, but like, by the way, I do want your powers, but like, I'm not gonna take them from you. I just like maybe another version of you, and also your friends probably aren't safe. And Charlie's like, "Fuck you," and Drakkon's like, "Okay, man, cool." Anyways, can we wrap this up so we can leave? And then like that kind of like, anyways. So while so this is happening, um it's an interesting moral dilemma that's kind of happening, and Drakkon just seems to be having none of it. We cut back over to Luke and Javier, and they are currently like making their way up the spire on Bubbles' back when Psycho Blue comes fucking flying out of one of the balconies and just tackles them off the fucking building. So Axe found us, and he's mad about it, so fight starts. And while we're fighting, Orion shatters the barrier. Finally, and our boys are here. Hayakawa arrives on scene to help out with the fight with Axe. And Orion comes flying through the wall of the ice spire and slams Drakkon into the ground, skidding like 10, 15 feet. And Orion is just like beating the fuck out of him. I mean, that's essentially what happens. Like, Orion just absolutely bodies him and knocks his ass out. And Charlie doesn't want to see any of this, so he runs out to join the others outside, and it's a big epic showdown time. We call our Zords for the first time. We get to use our Zords, which is really exciting. The fight is going pretty okay. Javier is just talking shit non-stop to Axe, and he is doing really well. Like, it's really funny actually, because he's kind of the only person landing any hits. And then we form into the Megazord to kind of tackle Axe, because he's a bit of a handful. So we're fighting Psycho Blue, and then he hits Luke with like this weird eye ray thing with his terrible yellow eyes, and Luke starts hallucinating. But he doesn't realize he's hallucinating. He thinks that this is very, very real. And he sees Orion standing over Psycho Red, otherwise known as Marcus, about to kill him. And Luke, in a moment of panic, starts running over to where he sees Orion and Marcus. And since he's the one controlling the Megazord, the whole Megazord goes with him. Like, he pilots the Megazord over there, and he goes to grab Marcus to scoop him up to safety, and Marcus like hits him with some like shock powers, and so he starts feeling like he's electrocuted. He's not actually being electrocuted, but he thinks he is, so he's like screaming out in pain. And Javier and Charlie don't know what to do. Javier is trying to like snap him out of it, and punches him like right in the jaw, but it does nothing. And Charlie manages to snap Luke out of it just by like yelling at him, and that manages to get through to him. So Luke snaps out of it, is like, what the fuck? We get back to the fight. We're going, and then poetic justice, destiny happens, and Bubbles gets the killing blow on Axe. Vengeance is served for Bubbles and his fallen friends. And so things kind of calm down a bit. Orion comes out carrying Lord Drakkon like slung over his shoulder, and Drakkon ends up actually being awake and like gets out of his arms and steals Orion's morpher from him, which Orion had taken the morpher back, but then Drakkon steals it back from him and everything. And whenever Luke sees Lord Drakkon, he gets a vision again of Marcus dying, and it's that weird shifting shape standing over him, but this time the shape is turning into Lord Drakkon more and more often. So Luke immediately is not trusting this man. we have like a conversation kind of with Drakkon. Drakkon tries to run off, but Bubbles grabs him, and Orion takes his morpher back, and he kind of explains to us who Drakkon is. And like a whole talk is had about Billy and how Drakkon wants to like take Billy out and everything because he wants to continue his path, but to fix things rather than to shatter the grid again. He doesn't want to shatter the grid. He doesn't want to break things. He just wants to bend them this time around. And it's questionable. It's weird. It's causing a bit of a moral dilemma amongst the group. But Orion decides to just let him go. He gives him a warning that if he sees him again, if he messes with his group again, that he will kill him. But otherwise, he lets him go. The Rangers have some conflicting feelings about this. They're all kind of upset and confused about it, but they stand by what Orion says. And then we kind of all join Bubbles and everyone else, and we head back to the ship. And as we are heading back to the ship, Luke watches Drakkon as he leaves, and he pulls Saba out and he teleports away off of Terra Venture to who knows where. And then we beam back up to the ship. Bubbles goes off to where he goes off to, a little like pocket dimension, I guess, because he's too big to fit on the ship. And everyone kind of goes off to their respective areas. I think Charlie is crying in the shower. Javier went downstairs somewhere, and Luke is currently leaned up against the wall on the floor, fighting a massive migraine from everything that just happened. And that's what you missed last time on Power Rangers Dimension Storm, Episode 10.
Charlie, let's say you wanted to take a shower, correct? Because you peed yourself like several times.
Yes.
Okay, so for Charlie, we'll say you get your shower and everything. You go get your clothes. We'll say you're in your room, in your room, you're chilling, all that kind of stuff. Just got clean, not doing much. It's kind of like a doorbell. It's pretty much just a little thing to let you know someone's at your door, and you can choose to open it if you wish. Little noise goes off.
I'll open it. Slides open.
So you see, it is Orion. He's standing right there as usual, and he says, have you gotten over? I don't know how to say this without being straightforward. I would like to have your debriefing.
Yeah, yes, sir. We can. Do you want to do that in your office?
We can do it in my quarters, or we can do it in your room if that's what makes you the most comfortable.
I would like to separate my room from the debriefings, and like it's like a separate area that'll be kind of not work related stuff.
Yeah. So you follow Orion. He offers to let you take a seat. If you want to sit, he's going to continue to stand.
I do. You can see him kind of like almost nervously being like overly trying to look normal.
So Orion looks at you and he says, it doesn't, well, probably for other people, but as being who I am and the powers that I have, I can see your spirit has been withered a bit more than the other two. From what I understand, you were with Lord Drakkon inside the spire. I had searched through Lord Drakkon's memories to see what all had happened, which is why I decided to carry him out instead of killing him there in the moment. I could tell through his memories you had experienced quite a lot with Axe. And yes, the debrief to see how you are and what happened from your account. But in this case, it's more of making sure that you yourself are okay after the events that transpired.
Yes, sir. First of all, I want to apologize for handing Drakkon the morpher. Like I said, he didn't necessarily trick me, but you saw it. He was actually pretty respectful for the most part the whole time. up until he revealed his true nature to me. Most of what I didn't like, obviously being kidnapped, flown to the Spire, and dealing with Axe. I didn't know that there were people that existed that were like that. And so hold on. I'm just trying to come to terms with the fact that individuals that maybe were once human can have those sort of mentalities. He hurt me, boss, and he pulled everything from my mind, and I'm just mostly I just want you to know that I'm sorry.
Orion puts his hand up. There's no need to continuously apologize. There was no way of telling what y'all were going to experience. And unfortunately, I could not have prepared you for that. You know about Psycho Rangers, you know what they're capable of, and y'all have seen probably the worst in the multiverse that I'm aware of firsthand. And unfortunately, you were on the receiving end of his frustrations. Through Drakkon memories, I saw he had longed for a new Blue Ranger, a challenge. While Virgil stayed on Earth and new Rangers came up, they were defeated by Virgil as he absorbed more and more powers. Axe just didn't care anymore. None of the Blue Rangers he faced gave him any sort of challenge, and none of them could take what he had to dish out. It just... I think I'm sorry, more than anything.
I've been doing a lot of research. I tried to do a training module. There was a Jason and Tommy like karate class that I tried to do, and I didn't get anything from it. I don't know if I'm cut out for this. I mean, I'm not saying I want to quit or anything. I'm just saying I don't know what I've got to do to get better at the more physical aspects of this job. But I'm gonna keep at it, sir. I kind of stand up from the chair. I kind of like breathe a little bit, and I'm not gonna quit. Running into an evil version of Billy Cranston, and then learning about Drakkon and the Psycho Rangers and all the monsters out there and what they're doing. These guys need to be stopped. And we're gonna figure it out.
Yes, we will. And I hate to ask, because I know it can be a horrible thing to do. But for the sake of being more prepared for the future, I would ask that you go to the simulation room and allow Allie to scan your mind for the memories of Axe and what you went through, so we can build a proper simulation of Axe. All the Rangers will have to do it if y'all are willing. This will give us a simulation of Axe in case you ever wish to train and prepare yourself for another fight, in case another version of Axe comes up in our way, in our path.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Okay, I'm not saying this in character. I'm out of character. Like, initially, Charlie doesn't want to, but everything you just said makes total sense to be better prepared for an Axe. Nah, he's just gonna be like, yes, sir.
Okay. If it's too much to bear for you, there might be another way for us to do it, because doing so makes you have to concentrate on the memories. If you are unable, I can have Ali call me down, and I can make the transaction a lot easier on you. I know you went through a lot, but there's something I want to know while going through Drakkon's memories. The Magna Defender was there. Seems he had perished to Axe just to keep you alive for a lot longer. Withered in his mind. Before you got there, Drakkon and the Magna Defender had conversations. Not a lot. Every so often, the Magnet Defender would lose his mind and cry for his son, Zika.
Yes. Tears are just coming off of Charlie's face, even though he's got like a straight face.
The Magnet Defender gave you something, didn't he?
Yes, it's his blaster sword thing. I was the only guy there. I don't think he would have given it to me if he had had more choices. But sir, I should probably tell you though too. Like after he had perished, there was a moment where it was almost like his spirit appeared to me, and he told me that I had it in me to be a defender. Again, I gotta question the wisdom of that. Like you said, his mind had deteriorated. So
He said that to you. And you have the blaster?
yes, it's right here, and I just have it like with me. I've been kind of like holding it and fiddling with it.
Orion is going to try to take it from you.
I hand it to him.
Not like forcibly, just
No.
like,
No. Yeah, you reach out and I instinctively hand it to you.
Orion starts to look it over. He tries to place the handle in the sword position, but it's just too stiff, too corroded. He tries to do the pump on it, just not a lot happening. The crystal is cracked as Orion looks it over. Before you go to the simulation room, make sure to go further downstairs to Hayakawa and hand this to him.
Oh yeah, yes, I will.
We may have found a source or a use for that gold energy after all. Is there any questions you have for me?
I guess you'll tell the rest of the group, but do you know if there have been any other anomalies that we're heading towards? Or do you know if we have just some time?
Right now, things seem pretty calm. Ali continues a constant sweep, but we're not picking anything up currently. If Billy's up to something, he's probably waiting for a particular moment. We are trying to get a proper scan now that we have Jiraiya and Hayakawa here to see if we can sense any of their, other people from their multiverse to try to potentially speed up the process of getting them home. And overall, keeping any potential evil that came through as well. We can't be for certain that it was all genuinely good people. But right now, like I said, things are calm. So y'all will have time. We're probably going to go orbit around an Earth that y'all are familiar with, probably 1K12 or the Turtles world. So that way y'all have some potential place to go and relax and see some familiar faces. But for now, if you don't have any other questions, you can head down, give Hayakawa the gun, and then Ali will be waiting for you to do that simulation scan.
Actually, sir, before I leave, would you mind if I scan your aura? I just want to see what it looks like as a reference point. I think I'm gonna ask everyone if I can, just to get a reference of what different auras look like. Would that be okay with you, sir?
By all means, I'm surprised you hadn't done it sooner. And if you're at it, you can also go and scan Dulcina's as well. Her aura is unique.
Can you describe what I'm seeing?
You've never seen anything quite like Orion's aura. You can understand and you can kind of see that what he said happened to him and Dulcina is in fact true. You can almost see different variations basically not variations, it's more like you can see that there are multiple stacked auras within Orion's aura, deep within. You can tell it's not just one, it's many. But there's also something a little more unique to it. There are specific colors that you can see within Orion's aura. It is a good aura, a very good central aura, but deep within you can also see a bit of rage as well. But the colors that stand out are a white, a red, a blue, a green, a pink, and a yellow. You see these colors a lot as they change like a spectrum.
Ooh, I just kind of back up and like, maybe I shouldn't have started with yours. Yes, sir, I see what you mean. I'll go knock that out, and if I run into people, I'll ask them, and I'll check everybody's aura.
As you go downstairs, try to grab Luke or Javi and send them up for their debriefing.
Yes, sir. Okay, and then I leave. I see Luke, and I'm like, hey Luke, have you seen Javi?
Luke is sitting against the wall with his knees up to his chest and his head is like down on his arms, and he just looks up at you, and his eyes are kind of squinty. He clearly doesn't look like he feels good, and he goes, I don't know where Javi ran off to when we got back to the ship. Is something wrong? Are you okay?
No, I just got done with my debriefing, and Orion asked me to get either one of y'all to send y'all in for yours. But before you do go in, real quick, would you mind if I check your aura?
Sure.
I check Luke's aura.
With Luke's aura matches the color of his powers. Not that that's because of his powers. This is just Luke's natural aura that he resonates. It's a green aura.
Okay.
The aura seems withered. It seems like it's been through a lot. You can see the wear and tear from what Luke's past has been that you've gotten a bit of has taken its toll on Luke's aura. But there is that spark deep within. There's a spark in there. You can see it. It's not bright, not very bright, but it's there. It's like a flame fighting a strong wind.
Oh man.
It's there. And you could potentially, this flame could ignite and restore Luke's aura back to its former glory, but it just depends on how things go.
I want to relay that back to Luke. I don't know if this helps at all, but your aura is green like your power. It doesn't feel like it's coming from the fact that that is your Power Ranger color. And I can tell that you've been through a lot, but I just want you to know that I sense a spark of, for lack of a better word, hope. But there's a flame in there that's fighting to stay alive, and I hope that flame grows.
Thank you, Charlie.
All right, I got to get this thing to Hayakawa. Yeah, but Orion's waiting for you.
Understood.
And then I just go in Hayakawa's office and hand him the blaster / Magnus Defender sword. And I'll also ask him if I can check his aura. You don't have to do it in roleplay if you don't want to, but like, if you want to send it to me, if you want to do it in roleplay, I don't want to take up all the time checking everybody's auras and having
Nah,
you.
that's fine. So you go in there and you ask Hayakawa, hey, you tell Hayakawa, Orion said to drop this off. He said something up.
I'll say, hey, he wanted me to drop this off. It's the Magna Defender's blaster / sword. He tried to maneuver it and couldn't. He also said that the gold energy that you had taken from me and the batteries might have some sort of use.
Hayakawa takes it, looks at it, comes over it. I think he might be right. I think that the gold energy, this could work. I might need you.
As he's talking, can I just like hug him? And I'm just gonna also say like thank you for coming and helping us.
Hayakawa just was holding the gun, so when you went to hug him, you just kind of like closed his arms in. So he's just
I couldn't help it anymore. I just had to hug him.
he's just sitting there, and he's just like, yeah, I mean, we're teammates. Why would I just let you fight the Nezzy Blue Ranger by yourself?
Back up, and I'm like, I'm sorry about that. It just means a lot that you're what was that thing, Mega Winger?
Yeah, Mega Winger. It's ironically the same name that's used in your universe, actually, or universes. It's kind of surprising.
That thing was awesome. You were awesome.
Well, I am Mega Silver after all. I have to be awesome. But whenever I do the gold energy, it seems like it's your energy now, no longer Jason's. I can get it started, but you may have to be here when it to try to make it take. So if you have anything else you need to do, come back later and we can sort this out.
I will. Before I go, can I check your aura?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I activate my aura sight.
From all the auras you've sensed, Hayakawa's it's very similar, but you can tell there are differences. It's different composition. and you can say that it's due to the fact he's in from a different universe. Very similar colors, all that kind of stuff, but it's different in nature. Very similar yet different. His aura is that of a silvery white aura. You could see the wisdom that he carries and a hint of the burden he has for not being able to save his teammates or anyone on the earth that he was on when it happened. Other than that, he's still very cheerful, very look to the future, we'll make it work. In a really good aura, really solid aura, really good aura, good natured. As Hayakawa gets started, you start to walk down to go to the simulation room. I'm assuming Luke would have started to head up to Orion's room.
Yes, he kind of picks himself up off the ground, runs a hand through his hair, and he just sort of walks over to the stairs and starts heading to Orion's quarters.
As you start coming upstairs, though, to Orion's quarters, you do hear him talking to Allie.
I mean, he's pretty light on his feet. He's gonna pause before he gets too high up the stairs and see if he can hear what's being said.
Okay, so you're going to try to listen?
Yes.
You're on the stairs. Allie's being very loud. I'm not going to make you roll. Something you can pretty hear. Allie is very pissed as she's starting to yell at Orion, but not what you think. Allie is basically saying, it doesn't matter. I understand Drakkon was there, but look at Charlie. You could just tell he's holding it all back. You should have ripped Axe apart. And Orion tries to calm her down. I understand. But he was just the Psycho Blue Ranger, and I say that, but compared to Lord Drakkon, I assumed Axe was working for him, and that Drakkon was the real threat. Anyone with the knowledge would have done the exact same thing I did. And yet you didn't even kill him. You let him walk away. I understand you are not the same as Dulcina, but you have to remember, in a heartbeat, I would have killed them both. But she taught me that if you can sense it in someone, if they don't quite seem like the person they were meant to be, there's always a second chance. And it's not just going to be for Lord Drakkon or anyone who I think could pose a threat to Billy. Like I told Luke, if Luke genuinely believes somewhere that Marcus is still good deep down, I'd give him a chance. He could even be brought on the ship. But the moment he does anything to betray that trust, it doesn't matter who gets in my way. I will kill him. I need you to think back to that. If they hadn't been able to put Axe down, I would have. But I can't just do everything for them. They had it under control. And Allie starts to calm down. I know. He's the youngest, and he doesn't have a lot of experience, and to have him go through something like that, it could have changed him entirely. It could have warped his perception. Made me furious that I couldn't do anything. All this power, and yet I'm just stuck here, unable to really help in the fight all that much. You're doing enough. You power this ship that allows us to travel anywhere we need to go to put a stop to the threat. I don't think anyone on this ship genuinely hates you. If anything, they probably hate me more than they hate you. I know you're stuck and you feel powerless, but you do your best at what you are able to do. Anyone on this ship would probably give their 100% if anyone tried to hurt you. And that's what matters. You taught me that. And there's a bit of silence. And then you hear Allie say, well, I think Charlie's in the simulation room. If he's unable to tolerate it, I'll call you. I don't know. I guess I just didn't really want any of them to get hurt like this. I expected us to show up and save the day, and poor Charlie got tortured in an ice prison. But we'll get that scan done. We need it to help prepare them for the future. And then you can hear a little blink as it's quiet, and you assume Allie's gone.
Luke continues up the stairs.
As you get up the stairs, Orion is facing towards the cockpit, and the outside where the glass can see space. He doesn't notice you're there yet.
You wanted to speak with me.
He turns around. Yes, for your debriefing. You may take a seat or you can stand.
I'm going to sit down this time.
Whenever we are done, you will head down to the simulation room, and Allie will scan your mind for your view of Axe and the battle y'all had with him to build a simulation of him to prepare y'all, or if you just wish to fight against him at any time, like the Psycho Red model we currently have, if you are okay with that.
Sure. That's fine. Although with Charlie, I think I would give him time.
Was going to, but he immediately said he was going to do it. If he doesn't succeed, I can pull the memories off of him, and then Allie can scan my brain for those memories. But he didn't let me get to that part. He just said he was going to do it to help us prepare for the future. So, to begin, your experience on Miranoi and TerraVenture, however which way you wish to start, however which way you wish to break things down, just whenever you're ready.
We touched down. We skirted around a lake. Charlie picked up on a bunch of energy signatures that we figured out were probably stingwingers. We continued on. We found TerraVenture. I went through the barrier. Did not realize I was stepping through it until after I had stepped through. Turn around. The other two are on the other side, and they are acting like they can't see me and they're seeing someone else. Eventually, Javier steps through. Charlie's still stuck outside, and he remains stuck outside, and Stingwingers pick him up, carry him off, and take him to Axe's lair. Javier and I try to keep up with them, but we can't, because obviously they're flying, and we're having to navigate through the city. We came across a man who directed us to go help a crying creature in the zoo. We found that was Bubbles, as Javier named him. That we found. We went and found the saber, the sword. Javi went back, freed Bubbles. We went back to the old man. He told us where Charlie was, roughly. We went down into one of the crevices. We found the ice spire. We fought a golem. We got up the ice spire about halfway. Axe tackled us off of it. We started fighting Axe, and then you guys showed up. Oh yeah, I found a cat. I hope that's okay. Fuck, where is the cat?
Orion pulls up his arm, hologram appears, and he's looking at several things. I think your cat is currently under the sofa in the main area.
Okay. Luke deflates a little bit. He seems calmer.
And the cat is fine.
Okay. We found the cat at some point. That's not important. He kind of like puts a hand to his forehead and he like closes his eyes. Where the big fight. You guys show up. I assume you kicked the fuck out of Lord Drakkon while we were fighting Axe. We were doing okay-ish. Axe hit me with some sort of hallucination thing. It felt very real though.
And what was
I
the
saw
hallucination?
I saw you standing over Marcus about to kill him. And I panicked. And since I was the one in control of the Megazord, I ran over there. And when I tried to pick Marcus up to save him, he electrocuted me. Of course, it didn't actually do any damage to me. And Luke's kind of looking at his hands, but it felt very real. I've never been electrocuted in my life, but it felt like that's what was happening.
Interesting.
And then Charlie snapped me out of it. We got back into the fight, and we killed Axe. And you know the rest. My head is pounding right now.
It's probably a after effect of what Axe did to you, but I'll get to that in a moment. Starting from the top, there's no way you could have known about the force field. If I had been stronger, I would have been able to realize it. Allie's scanners are easier to fool. Yes, she is a magical being created with the power of technology, mostly relying on technology in itself. The darkness was too thick for me to currently see through, to unprepare you. It was a trap, a way to lure you in, potentially keep one out, so Axe could have another toy to torture with. The gorilla is my son, one of my children. I think Javier has given him a new name that he is quite fond of, but his original name was Goki. I wasn't really good with names, but Dulcina picked out a lot of names, if not all the names, if I remember correctly. Goki is the gorilla water elemental that is directly linked to the quasar, the blue quasar saber, and the transmorpher that came from me.
And Javier now has that.
Yes. I think
this will be good for him.
yes. It'll deter him from using the white dino power until we're able to cleanse it. Once we cleanse that power, it'll be a useful asset to the team. It is a really strong power. Moving forward, thank you for helping save my son.
Of course. We weren't just gonna leave him there.
I saw through my son's memories his siblings did not make it.
No. There were graves.
When it comes to other things, the imagery I got from Drakkon, and mostly my son, did not look good. I do not know much about your past entirely, but I cannot imagine it was easy to see. It's taken its toll on Charlie, from what I can tell, a little bit. He's remaining in high spirits, which is good. You didn't get a lot of what Charlie got, but seeing it all, how are you holding up?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Orion. I'm not feeling great.
Yes. And that brings me to my next question. I know what Axe's eyes can do. My Question for that is, are you scared Marcus is going to be killed?
I know he is.
And how do you know that?
I've been having dreams. And Luke looks up at Orion, and he's staring straight in his eyes.
What kind of dreams?
I had a visitor in the last one. Our friend the Death Ranger.
When you say that, you can see Orion's mask do the squint thing. How long have you been having them?
Few weeks.
Since you became the leader?
Something like that.
Tends to happen. Not all leaders get them, but most do. So in these visions, you see Marcus being killed. By who?
I don't know. But Lord Drakkon is a potential one.
You don't know, but potentially. What are you exactly seeing in these visions of yours?
Whenever I first laid eyes on Drakkon on Terror Venture, I got that vision again. Marcus on the ground, a figure standing over him with a bladed weapon, and as that figure started shifting, it started to become Drakkon again and again and again. The only similarities are that it's someone with a shield and a blade. Drakkon has both of those.
It seems Axe pulled from what knowledge he had. Because I don't have a shield,
No, you don't.
but I do have a bladed weapon.
You're not gonna kill Marcus.
I won't, unless he makes me.
You're not going to.
I'm going to give him a chance.
I'm not saying that you're not going to give him a chance. What I'm saying is I know you won't be the one to kill him. He's going to die, and whoever kills him has a shield and a blade.
And what did death say to you?
That is his destiny. A killer, destined to die at the hands of someone more ferocious than him. And he asked me if I could stand to watch my friend die again. I've been having to watch it in my dreams for the past few weeks. Of course, I never get to see the killing blow, but I know the result.
Orion's going to come up to you and get down to your level and grab your shoulders with both his arms. I want you to look at me.
What?
If you tell me with 100% in your heart, you may not know it now, but if you ever get to Marcus and you talk to him, or whatever it is you do, if you tell me that deep down he's still that Marcus deep within, if I have to, I will keep death away from Marcus. That is a promise.
How can you promise that? How do you have that much power to promise that?
I can't say for certain now. But I promise you, I don't know how much time you'll have, but I will keep death at bay as long as I am able. After all, he can't be as tough as he makes himself out to be. He's got a deranged cowboy close on his tail who does not seem to be that afraid of him. And if the rumors are true, Death wiped his entire team. And yet this man is seeking this fight. And he's just a man. A lone ranger. No team. If he's not afraid of him, then I shouldn't be either. If you tell me you believe Marcus is still in there, I need you to be certain.
As much as I care about Marcus, I know that this isn't exactly the same one, and that mine is never coming back. And if I'm not certain, I don't want to put anyone on board in jeopardy.
I understand.
Thank you.
I just wanted to let you know that I trust your judgment.
I think you trust my judgment much more than I trust my judgment, if I'm being honest.
I know it's hard, but I'm old enough and wise enough to know when someone is, how do I put it? I know how hard it is for someone to see someone else that is the exact same person that they love be someone entirely different. I didn't have anyone, so I wanted to give you someone who understands. The others may not see it, but I do.
I just don't understand. It's not fair, because, like, Charlie got to see his mom, right? And Javi got to see his younger brother. And then I get this. The version of Marcus that I get to see is this. Some fucking deranged lunatic who's trying to kill us. I haven't seen him in 3 years, and this is what I get. I have to see him try to kill me in my fucking dreams.
The multiverse is a vast place. You may see another version of him at some point that isn't this. You could see anyone you know, your family, your friends, even a professor, if you had any that you can recollect. Anyone at any time. It's hard to say what's at play here and everywhere we've been. But death is not entirely wrong. Destiny has a big hand in a lot of things. That's why there's so many similarities everywhere you go. Jason on his Earth had a whole team that were entirely the same. The Turtles have a Zordon and an Alpha. The Alpha may not be the Alpha that is the same in most parts of the multiverse, but he's still Alpha. You may still see some of your friends again, whether they're Rangers or in a different occupation. There's always a chance. And if you're having these dreams, you should have told me sooner.
I didn't know how to exactly start that conversation.
I understand it's hard. But tonight, to give yourself a good sleep, sleep on the cot next to Dulcina. I find myself sleeping there quite often, for I too am plagued by dreams I do not wish to have. Dulcina will take care of your dreams, and you will get a good sleep, I promise you. You can sleep there a few nights if you wish, anytime. You can go down there and you can sleep to ward off these dreams.
Luke just nods.
If you ever start to have any different visions, or more of it comes to light, any other details, come to me more often so we could try to piece it together.
I'll do that. I overheard you talking to Ali earlier about the whole Drakkon situation. I'm not happy about the fact that you let him go, but I'm trusting your judgment that he's different.
Like I said, something doesn't sit right. The Drakkon before would not have saved or even cared to rescue Charlie. And yet, in the memories I got from Drakkon, Charlie refused, and Drakkon still was ready to carry him and get him to safety. That's not something Drakkon would have done. He had a perfect opportunity when they first escaped to leave Charlie behind, and yet he didn't. He chose a harder path to keep Charlie close to him and get him out.
That sounds more like Tommy than it does a villain.
Exactly. Whatever happened to Drakkon after the events of the Shattered Grid incident, something changed him. And how he said things about Billy, lashing at the grid, being a child, breaking everything, speaks volumes to who he's become, potentially. But then again, this may not even be the same Lord Drakkon. The multiverse is a vast place. This could be another variation who suffered a very similar loss. Only time will tell now. And I told Charlie this. Everything is very calm right now. Allie keeps a constant scan for any fluctuations. And there isn't any right now that we can see. We plan on orbiting an Earth that y'all have been to before. Either 1K12 or the Turtles world. So that way, in this downtime, you still have other people you can go see and talk to. And get a bit of a break. So take your time. Rest easy. Take care of your health. I mean, if you need anything during this time, I will be here.
Luke just nods and gets up. Thank you, Orion.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Also, none of us hate you.
Well, I'm glad to see that has changed. All right. You go down the stairs, and now we're here to Charlie.
Hey, Allie.
Hello.
I was told that you've got to take my memories of what just happened.
Yes. Just sit in the chair, and that helmet that's on the dash, just grab and put that thing on, and we'll get to work. Unfortunately, it will require you to concentrate on the event.
If it's not, it's better that it's fresh on my mind, right?
Yes. You don't have to focus on the whole thing. Just focus on a piece of it that you can remember very well, and we should be able to grab the rest of what happened from there.
And you mostly want the axe information?
Yes. I'm going to have you do this in character. How well do you think Charlie would be able to focus on a part? Doesn't have to be the whole thing, not all of it. Just try to pick a section, and that you can think of that would be easy for Charlie to hold on to And tell me how well Charlie's going to handle remembering that.
I think that the axe stuff would be the most prominent stuff that he can't get off of his head. So, like, if you were asking about Drakkon, like, he might, like, be thinking about axe instead of Drakkon. Or if you were thinking about, like, the Zord fight or anything like that. So, the fact that they want information on axe is probably good because that's the most sort of prominent thing that's in his head.
Okay. And what part of that is he going to focus on? Would you say that he would choose to focus on?
The violence and threatening portions, like his interrogation skills and just like his insanity overall, his just like lust for violence and power and things like that. Like, but mostly, yeah, the violence.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna give that to you. You know, it sounds like Charlie. You know, he's probably he could probably try to think of the Megazord fight, but instead of seeing Drakkon helping him escape, he might see Axe trying to help him escape. When it comes to being in the cockpit with his fellow Rangers, he might just see two axes. You know. So I'll say yeah, that's fair. So is Charlie can focus on it. We're gonna say he does it, but how does Charlie feel about having to stick on that on his mind? Does it hurt a little bit, or is he just like, yeah, this happened?
No, it's more of a echo of the past sort of thing where it's like he thought like being powerless and abused were days like of his past and now they're brought back, so it's like he thought he was over it. It's like he's been telling himself that he had overcome something when he really hadn't. It just went away because his mom moved him away from his dad. So in his head he thought it was something he overcame, but now he's realizing he never overcame it and that he'll always be a victim. He'll always be somebody that people can push around. And so that aspect is hurting him.
Gotcha. So he's imagining Axe with a belt.
Oh, geez.
You get the thing. You're sitting here for a little bit. Before you're done, Luke would have had time to come down if Luke was immediately heading to the simulation room. Charlie would still be in here when he gets here.
I mean, Luke knows that Charlie's in there, probably, so he's probably not gonna go in there right now. But also, Luke has a splitting headache and is trying his best to not, like, pass out from that. So he is focused on going to the med wing and getting the strongest painkillers we have on the ship.
Fair enough. Okay, so Charlie, you eventually it's the stuff on the screen. It says memories captured 100%. Allie says, "Okay, you can remove the helmet now." There is another thing. Since Javier has already discovered it, I don't know if he shared it with y'all. This can also be used as a bit of a therapy tool. If there's any places in your memory you'd like to see again from your Earth, or potentially any fan members you would like to see again, you know, your real ones, not your mom from the other Earth y'all were on, that the fake one. You know, if there's any memories you want to relive to help you pump you up for the mission, it can do that too.
Okay, I'll think about it. Charlie puts his hand sort of like in his pocket and kind of feels something. And he's just like, yeah, I'll just, I don't know if that's something that I want to mess with right now. I'll think about it.
Okay, because there is a limit. If you try to live your old life through the simulation room, Orion specifically wanted me to tell you, even if you lock the door, there's nothing that can keep you from him. So don't try to live your life away in the simulation room.
Yeah, my mom used to not really let me play a lot of Pac-Man and stuff. She'd always say like that I couldn't escape into those worlds. So I mean, she was pretty adamant about it. That was like the one thing that she kind of drilled into my head was like, we've got to live, you know, we've got to get up and out. And so I like video games, but and the simulation room is great and all. I haven't really spent a lot of time as much as everybody else is in here. I honestly don't even know how I feel about it. Other than when we watched all the Shrek movies, that was awesome.
Yes, that was a lot of fun.
So yeah, watching the movies in here is cool, but I don't know about all the other stuff.
But yeah, no, Allie's like, well, you're free to go now, and take your time and take it easy. And if you never need anything, me and all the rest are always here.
Allie, before I go, do you know any like cool handshakes that? And I know we can't touch each other, but like maybe we could do like have a handshake that me and you have. I think that would be really cool. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I thought that would be something nice that I would like to just do with you.
Oh, like a best friend handshake?
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, I've always wanted to do one of those. I don't know though. But she's like, it is hard to touch my hands. Oh, I have an idea. And one of the mechs, very humanoid looking mech, will walk forward, and then Allie will get to the same size, and the hologram will ensue the robot, and Allie like pokes you with her finger in the shoulder. All right, I think this will work.
Maybe what you just did to test it out, that could be it. And Charlie kind of does like the robot dance like for a little bit, like moving his arm stiffly, and then pokes the robot's shoulder. Like I know that you were just testing that, but that could be the thing that we do.
Oh, so it's just like Facebook.
Whoa, what?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're from the 80s. I forget that all the time. But yeah, just a little robot dance and a poke. Seems similar. Seems pretty cool. I like it.
So like also we could do it even if you're not in robot form. We could just kind of do like a little dance, and then just I'll poke where your shoulder is, and you can poke where my shoulder is. So if I'm in another room without these guys, we can still just act it out.
100% for sure. I've always thought about trying to use one of the robots and project myself on it. But then if I say certain things, I become actually physically touchable. And I kind of like being able to sass people around and not being able to actually get hurt.
That makes total sense. I wish I could do that. I mean, not sass people, but just be ghost-like.
Yes, very ghost-like. But yeah, no, just a little poke on the shoulder and she pokes you again.
So let's time it out. Okay, on the count of three, we'll do like three little motions with our arms, and then we'll go in for the shoulder poke.
Okie dokie. Let's give it a shot.
1, 2,
3.
And
poke.
That's awesome.
She's laughing, having a good time.
Charlie's got a big smile on his face.
Yeah, she's laughing too. And she's like, I'm glad to see that you're in good spirits, Charlie. Makes me really happy.
He gets kind of serious again. He's like, I'm trying to be. Sometimes I don't know if I'm pushing things down, but I wanna be able to face these things and not have them in me. I want to get them out, and I don't know how much of everything that we've been doing is in there, but I think I'm handling it okay.
She puts her hand on your shoulder. Charlie, just remember that you're surrounded by a lot of people that care a lot about you. You can talk to anyone. Me, Orion, Hayakawa. I don't know about Jiraiya, and Luke. He seems like he's easy to talk to. Javier, probably not so much, but you have people to talk to you, and if it's necessary, I can whip up a therapist program potentially.
It's like psychiatry or something, like.
Yeah, basically.
I think that would be okay. I'd be okay with that.
Okay, well,
anything worth to try. I don't want to carry anything with me that I don't need that's going to hurt me. So if you think that would help, I please get that therapy thing.
Okay, well, I'll go through a few things and whip up a simulation I think will be very good for you, and I'll let you know when it's ready. It may not be today, but it'll be pretty quick, I promise.
Thank you. And then he just kind of does the robot and pokes her shoulder.
And she laughs. She does it back. She does the robot. She pokes her shoulder.
When he gets out the door, he goes into his pocket again, and he pulls out the picture that y'all all took before the mission, and it's of the Dimension Storm team. And like he just kind of like smiles at it, puts it back in his pocket, and then goes back to the common room.
Okay. So now we're gonna have Luke. Luke, you got your medicine and everything. What are you doing now?
He slapped on one of those extra strength nicotine patches. He knows how much pain medicine he can get away with before it's dangerous. So, I mean, if they've got something for migraines specifically in here, that's what he's gonna take. But if not, he's gonna take some extra strength, like, I don't know, fucking Tylenol or some shit.
Uh, they don't have over the like doctor prescribed stuff that's not like morphine or anything. They have morphine and stuff, but they don't have anything that's like specifically for migraines. But they do have like extra strength stuff, like you just said. So
Yeah, I mean, Luke's not gonna take the morphine.
Mighty Morphine Power Ranger.
I just didn't want to like not say it and then need it at some point and it'd be like, well, you didn't say they had it whenever I was doing this. So I was like,
Well,
just
no, he's just gonna take some extra strength, like Tylenol or something, like some regular pain medicine, and just take a minute, and then he'll extricate himself from the Medwing. He's probably running into Charlie at this point. He's probably coming out of the Medwing at the time that Charlie's coming out of the stairs.
it's quite possible. Yeah.
Charlie makes a beeline for Jiraiya. What is Jiraiya doing? Is he playing video games or something?
Jiraiya's kind of working his way up through not wanting to jump into the big new stuff, going back to what he knows from the 90s. I'm going to say he's playing Mario 64.
Hey, Jiraiya?
Yeah.
I've been doing this thing where I'm checking everybody's auras, and I know that you weren't, part of what we just went through, but if you don't mind, you can keep playing your game, but I would like to scan your aura if that's okay with you.
Yeah, sure. That's no problem. It's not going to hurt or anything, is it?
Nobody's told me that it hurts so far, so if it does, let me know.
And I'm fine just sitting here. I don't have to stand up.
I think so.
Okay, yeah, then sure, no problem.
Activate aura sight on Jiraiya.
Yet again, Jiraiya has a very more similar aura to Hayakawa than he does y'all. They, like I said, very similar, but it's just there's differences. There's different composition. He does have a very shadow-like aura. It could be maybe because he's the Black Ranger, or it could be because his ninja training that he has. You do get some sense of longing, as you can kind of feel that he's longing for his fellow teammates. And he does feel out of place where he's currently at with all this futuristic stuff and hopping between worlds. He does feel a bit, since he told Orion, you can feel that he feels like he should have been with y'all when everything went down, but he stayed behind to get more information because he was a bit afraid, but he's hoping to make up for that. He has that spark of gonna do better in the future.
Oh man, I totally get all of that. So I'm gonna kind of step back and be like, all right, man. You have a very not to worry you, but you have a dark aura. I think that's just because you have a ninja and background and you're a Black Ranger. But listen, man. I know you really we haven't talked about anything serious since you joined us, but I want to thank you for coming along. I know you think about your team a lot. And just so you know, they pulled me from the year 1986, and so I'm kind of new to all this futuristic stuff. These games, I don't even know. I've tried to play Mario, the one with the sun, the water powers. I couldn't do it. I had to watch the robots do it. It's all overwhelming, and I just want you to know, at least I feel like me and you are in the same boat in that aspect. So if you want to talk to me about any of that, I'm always here. You know where my room is. And I just want you to know that, like, I feel a connection with you, and I'd like to get to know you more.
Jiraiya nods, and it's just a lot, Like,
Oh, believe me, I know. It's. I'm kind of like laughing, but I'm like also like trying to keep from crying. And I say that too. I'm like, I laugh a lot. I kind of giggle, but it's actually I feel like I'm doing it to keep from crying because it's very overwhelming.
yeah, no, I mean, I get that as well. Because maybe in practice and in time, computer's a little bit easier for me to use, but I got all this stuff like the little robots, and there's like so many automated things, and then there's the ghost girl. I don't know, man. He's just like, so you say dark aura, like evil? Because I'm not a bad guy.
I really don't. I've been reading auras here and there. It's all new to me, so I don't know what the colors specifically mean.
I will say that like between like Billy and Marcus, like Jiraiya has a dark aura, but it's not filled with malice. It's just a dark color. You can tell from everybody else that he aligns more with y'all than Billy and Marcus did, even if they had brighter auras.
I'm gonna let him know that, but also let him know that I have been. I don't really know what kind of aura I'm giving off, but I can see that I've been maybe hiding some of my own fear and pain from my friends because I want to keep the mission moving forward and I don't want to hold anybody back just because I'm afraid.
Yeah.
And so maybe some of that shadow training and ninja stuff like that, maybe that can help, but like with what we're doing, but maybe it's some sort of brain thing, psychological thing that we do. But just because we're far away from home, we're on a spaceship with people that we just met, and honestly, whenever I get real scared, I remember that at least the people that we're around are trying to have our best interest at heart. That we're having breakfast together, we're smiling, we're playing video games. I don't know if you know, but I was just in a prison and I didn't know how long I was going to be there. So whenever I feel overwhelmed, at least I'm not there. I hope I'm not still there. I hope I don't wake up and this is a dream that we've made it all out. And as I'm talking and rambling, like he's seeing that like tears are coming from my eyes again, and I kind of say like I'm rambling and like I can't believe that I still have my tear ducts are still producing water.
He's gonna pause his gaming and like get on the couch, and he's just like, "Hey man, look, I mean, I hope I'm not a dream either. To be honest, I feel quite real, but I think you're good, But I mean, from what I understand, Bubbles ripped his head off. I think he's dead."
I kind of laugh and I wipe the tears from my face and I go, exactly. I think in the end, when we get overwhelmed, let's just look at the for lack of a better word, blessings that are around us.
So you're gonna be all right.
I think you are too.
Yeah.
And I kind of like hug him too.
You hug him.
Yeah.
He's kind of he's kind of like, okay, and he gives you like light touchy hug, just like, all right,
Just like Luke did, just like Hayakawa didn't know. I'm starting to hug people without consent. I'm just going in for it because I think after what I just went through, at least for now, I need it more than I think that they need their personal space.
Yeah. He's giving you a hug, but it's just like light tapping of the palms on his back.
I get it. I've gotten those hugs from Luke. I'm used to them, but right now I've got to embrace people. So yeah, and now I let him go, and I'm like, sorry, yeah, but we're gonna be okay. And I see Luke walking around, and I'm like, hey, are you okay?
At this point, Luke would have come out of the med wing and everything. and heading over towards where you guys are.
How's it going, Luke? You kind of look like you're in pain. Did something get you?
I think whatever axe hit me with is having some nasty side effects. My head's been killing me since the fight ended, but I took some meds. I think I'll be fine in a little bit. Also, my jaw hurts.
Oh, I don't know what happened while I was in the ice prison and y'all were looking for me, but did you get into a fight? I know well, I don't know if I should be the one that tells you, but when I told you to snap out of it, I had my eyes closed and I heard a commotion and some sounds. The only other person in the room was Javi, so maybe you want to talk to him about that.
Did Javi fucking punch me?
Again, my eyes were closed very tight because I was following your orders to close my eyes and no one had told me to open them back up.
And that's when Allie's gonna appear, and she's gonna be like, "You want to find out? I can pull the footage from the cockpit."
I mean, if he did punch me, I'm not like mad about it, because everyone was kind of panicking there because I had lost control of everything. I'll ask him about it later. It's fine.
Okie dokie. And you're gonna be coming to the simulation room in a bit, correct?
Yeah, I was gonna head that way. I needed to get something in my system, to try to knock this headache out.
Okay. And Charlie Hayakawa did mention that if whenever you're available, before everyone goes to bed at some point, assuming y'all are all very tired, he still has that energy he's ready to try with the Magnum Offender gun.
Ooh! And I just run in there. Like I just immediately leave to go in there.
Okay. And then we're gonna keep going with Luke and bring Luke down. Before you go down there, Luke, however, you do hear a meow.
Kitty, 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 kitty.
Meow.
Luke kind of squats down to see if the cat's under the sofa.
He is underneath the sofa, and he's just looking wide-eyed.
Hi, buddy.
He's just looking.
He kind of like does the little rubby finger thing, and he kind of leans forward and is like, "Come here."
And the kitty cat comes out, and he starts to look around. Jiraiya is turned around, looking at behind the sofa, just like, where did the cat come from?
I found him when we were on Miranoi.
Oh.
I did leave Tabby on the couch with Jiraiya, so now Tabby can see the new cat.
Kemuri is seeing the spectral cat, and the spectral cat's just on the back of the sofa, looking down, and Kemuri's looking at him, at Tabby, and he just doesn't know what to do. Kemuri is just like, what?
If allowed, Luke will pick Kemuri up.
You can try.
If it doesn't seem like he wants to be picked up, Luke will leave it alone.
It does. It doesn't sound like Kemuri doesn't want to pick up. It seems like he's more hungry than anything.
Allie, I don't imagine we have cat food, but we do have like lunch meat and stuff, right?
We have shark bits.
Oh no, as soon as I recognized there was a smaller life form and happened to be a cat, I immediately put the robots to work, since we don't have cat food at the time.
Gotcha. If can we get him something?
Yes, I think the robots are just done finishing it up. I will instruct them to bring a plate to the simulation room with the food on it to meet us down there.
Okay.
But yes, Kemuri allows you to scoop him up. He is just more hungry and a little grouchy because of the hungry, but he lets you pick him up. He's still pretty weak after all.
Okay. Luke is just kind of like giving him some nice little chin scritches. But yeah, I found him down on Miranoi. Uh, I'm surprised anything was really alive down there. Uh, I I was gonna name him Kemuri because he kind of looks like smoke.
And Jiraiya is just like Japanese, a Japanese name.
Yeah, I know you saw me the other day talking with Hayakawa. I learned it a few years back because my friends and I were planning on taking a trip over to Japan, and that ended up not happening. But I continued learning, and it's helpful.
And he's just like, oh, interesting. I need to learn how to speak it better. I've gotten better at it, but I still haven't fully learned it all yet. But I can understand it.
Since I have someone to talk with Hayakawa, it's given me good practice because for a while, I mean, I could listen to it and understand it, but as far as like conversing, I was a little bit rusty, so I'm kind of happy to have practice.
And then as you're saying that, one of the little robots comes up and he's got a rather big pillow and he just looks at you. And Allie's just like, oh, I think that's the temporary cat bed. Where do you want to put the cat bed?
That I mean, cool. Um, Ali, what are we going to do in the way of a litter box?
Yeah, I haven't quite figured that one out yet. But the robots will clean it up for the most part until it becomes a problem. Until then, just try to clean it up wherever it is. We're working on it, just don't have anything solid yet. Which is why we're going to go back to another Earth and orbit it. Got to get a few things, and cat stuff is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just a metal container with, I don't know, like shredded paper in it will do for the time being.
Okay, yeah, they can get started on that. But do you want the cat bed in your room or out here?
I think that depends on where Kemuri feels most comfortable.
Fair enough. We'll just leave it in here for now. And one of the robots goes and just places it on one of the carpets. But alrighty, let's go down to the simulation room where the food will be there and we can get started on that scan.
We go.
So, go back downstairs. The cat food is next to the chair. So you can set Kemuri down and he immediately gets out of your arms and starts going down to eat. There's also a little bowl of water there as well. And Allie tells you, so just sit in that chair and then put that helmet on and we will get started.
All right. But before I do, I know Charlie's real good about like kind of tamping things down. Um, how is he actually doing?
It seems like he's keeping in good spirits, and he might be pushing things down a little bit too much. I offered to upload a therapeutic simulation to allow him to talk to someone who could potentially help him through his problems if he didn't want to talk to anyone else. Although I told him that I'm pretty sure he could talk to anyone here and they'd help him out. Guess he just didn't want to bother anybody.
He's spoken to me a little bit, though not about what's happened recently, obviously.
Understandable. And like I told Charlie, Javier figured this out. Um, but we're scanning you so we can make a simulation of acts that's accurate, at least accurate to the one that y'all faced. But this can also be used to bring memories into the simulation, whether it's a place you want to show everybody from your Earth, a place you want to visit, or maybe even a specific memory with family or friends. But Orion did want to let me know that even though this is very helpful and can keep you going through the moment, uh, don't try to live through your memories here in the simulation room because even if you lock it, nothing can keep him from you.
Right. It's like that weird mirror thing in Harry Potter.
Yeah, exactly like that. So if you ever need to relive something to keep up your spirits, don't be afraid to ask. Just don't expect to stay in here for too long.
I might look into that later. Um, but for now, I guess let's do this. And Luke puts on the helmet.
So you're gonna have to focus on at least a part of the memory, something that's easy for you to remember about the fight with Axe, something you can latch onto and keep it fresh in your mind and concentrate on it, and then we can go from there and get the rest of the entire memory of the fight.
Oh, I know immediately what Luke focuses on. When he got hit with the eye beams.
So how is Luke going to focus on this? Same thing with Charlie. I'm giving you a chance to, in character, say whether or not you think Luke will be able to hold on to that or not.
Oh, he will.
Okay.
So Luke is kind of like replaying the fight in his mind. When specifically when like Axe is like staring through the visor of the Megazord and like catches Luke's eyes. And then, of course, like the memory of Luke thinking he's fine and shaking it off, and then seeing Orion standing over Marcus, running over there, trying to grab Marcus, getting electrocuted, the pain. And he kind of like flinches a little bit because the pain's pretty fresh in his brain because it just happened a few hours ago. Um, and then like kind of playing through the rest of the fight, like getting snapped out of it by Charlie, and then Bubbles getting the killing blow.
Yeah, so you hold on to the memory pretty well. It takes a bit, but eventually, yeah, memory's 100% done, complete. And Allie's like, okay, you can take the helmet off now. And that's it, you're good to go. And now we need is Javier, but I think he's talking to Orion right now. I'm pretty sure he'll be down in no time. But the robots have organized your cat's food in its own little packaging that says, cat food for now. And yeah, just take it easy. We're trying to make sure you all have time to relax. And I'm pretty sure Orion told you things are pretty calm right now. So just take whatever time you need while we have it.
Right. Allie, while I'm thinking about it, because I know, like, sometimes you seem to get a little bit annoyed with me. I just kind of wanted to check in. Because I know there's sort of like the joke of like, oh, I'll go out the airlock if I dare to smoke a cigarette on board, which I'm not going to, but I don't know.
Well, mostly it's a joke, but also you got to think. My situation is very much magical yet technological. So technically, when you think about it, the filters on the ship are my lungs.
I mean, the good thing is that while I'm on board, I'm not smoking as much as I was.
This is true. But no, you're all right. But like we said, just take your time and do whatever you need to do to relax during this down period. Okie dokie. If you need help, let me know. And then Kemuri finishes eating and he is following right behind you.
Trotting on along.
Yep. A little more pep in his step, a little more energy. He's getting the nutrients and proteins he needs now. All right, and with that, we will cut to Charlie with Hayakawa. And Jiraiya has come in here to watch. He's pretty interested to see how this will go. So Hayakawa, during this time, Hayakawa has prepped the batteries of the gold energy along with the Magnet Defender sword. And he thinks he's got everything, and he says, I think we got everything correct. And if we're right, this should work. So I'm gonna need to clamp this to you since it's your energy, and the other one to the blaster sword. You got it?
Yeah. Where's that clamping to? Like earlier when we did it.
It's just gonna go to like your arm or your shoulder, wherever's most comfortable. You can do it yourself even.
Okay, I'll just pinch it I'll clamp it onto my arm.
Okay. This, I mean, it could work, but there's always the chance that it doesn't. I mean, I'm learning more about grid powers and stuff, and this energy has been a lot of help. But like I said, it's really became more of your energy than it was Jason's. So since we couldn't get off the first time, it became your energy. And I think having you as a ground will actually help process this energy to the sword and potentially give you a new weapon. If it works. I hope.
We've got to try.
And first Jiraiya was like closer to you, and as you're like clamping your thing, Hayakawa just like motions him like you might get back. And then Jiraiya steps back and he's like, Orion gave me the go ahead to do this whenever you're ready.
Charlie has like a nervous smile and he's like, let's do it.
So Hayakawa starts the process, flicks that switch, whatever which way you want to imagine it, to get the batteries moving that energy around, and you feel a bit of a tug at first, and then you start to feel it start to go through you and the sword. As it's going through, gold lightning courses through the sword. And Charlie, you start to notice the rust starting to go away. You notice the cracks in the green gem starting to go away. You notice it starts to get energized, and you can feel more and more of the sword come to life. And you hear that thing that the Magna Defender said to you before, and Axe's throne room, where he says, "You have the power to defend. You just don't know it yet." You hear it one more time as the energy starts to really go through the sword, and the gun sword starts to really the weapon starts to clatter and vibrate around rapidly as the power is really getting sucked into it, and you can feel this pull. You can feel it on yourself as the sword is just taking all of it. As Hayakawa panics, it's just like, it wasn't supposed to take this much. I hope this is a good thing, because man, this is not going the way that I thought it would. But Charlie, you don't, how is Charlie feeling with all this? He feels this tug and everything, and all this energy going to the sword. How does he feel?
I also feel the energy coursing through me, so it feels like it's a little bit scary, but it also is good. And so, like, I'm just holding on, like, for dear life, just to see how far I can push it, to see what is going to end up happening. And I remember from my research, Mike getting the sword, and how he threw the sword up and yelled Magna Power, and morphed and was able to turn into so I remember that from my research, but I don't know if it's appropriate for me to try to do that, and I'm just holding on while the energy is coursing through the sword.
So starts the sword as it starts to lift ever so slightly, and you lifting along with it. As Hayakawa is trying to solve a situation, Jiraiya is freaking out, and then all of a sudden it all just stops. You land on your feet, you weren't levitating that hard, and the sword clamps down. The sword is scorching hot. You can't tell the changes that have been made, as it has flicked itself into its sword mode at some point and is scorching hot to the point where you can't see the quite details of the sword and how well it is, how it looks.
So I'm not touching it anymore?
You weren't touching it to begin with. You were just clamped to it from the batteries to you. It's like a car battery jumper, you know?
I'm going to hold my hand over it and just, do I feel like the heat emanating off of it?
You feel the heat, but you don't feel afraid of the heat.
Oh, shit.
You feel like you could probably easily pick this up. Like, you feel no fear in touching this scorching hot sword.
I grab the hilt.
You grab the hilt, and it's hot, but you're not being burnt by it.
Feels amazing.
It feels amazing as Hayakawa looks up from his... Jiraiya and Hayakawa both got behind his desk. As they start to peer around, Jiraiya's like, Did it work? Charlie, you can feel something happen to the sword. It feels good. The sword is re-energized as it starts to cool down, going back to its natural state and its mighty glory of the Magna Defender sword.
It feels like it's back to its original state, like how it just feels like it's been revived. You did it, Hayakawa. Like, you're a genius. the gold energy unlocked it. It's back to normal, and I'm just kind of like moving it like slowly.
And then you feel something, Charlie. You feel a surge of energy as something appears on your right wrist.
Oh man, that's what I was wondering about. What is this? And I look at my right wrist.
Now your left wrist stayed the same. Your
Yeah.
right wrist is the folder section of the morpher.
Which, if you notice, the morpher that I created, the house cat morpher, is a Lost Galaxy morpher that's been altered. So it's the same like basic principle.
I thought it was either a Z or a Lost Galaxy. They have very similar basic shapes, but this appears on your wrist. And instead of saying Galaxy or Lost Galaxy, it just says Defender mode.
Defender mode. Look at this, and I show it to Hayakawa.
You show it to Hayakawa, and he's just like, "That's interesting." He says, "I've seen this before," and he goes on his computer for a few seconds, like, "Yeah, that's a portion of the Magna Defender's morpher." But it doesn't say Galaxy or anything. It just says Defender mode. And Charlie, on your left wrist, your morpher, on the back side of the circular part is now a slot that opens and closes.
And then I think about my research, and I'm like, I look up and I smile at the two guys, and I go, I'm gonna try it.
And Hayakawa's like, "Yeah, do it. This could be something completely different." So you know how to, you can flick it open and it makes it longer, and you shove it into that back slot of your morpher.
Okay, so I flick it.
Yep, and it extends it like in the picture, the little circular thing.
Extends. Okay, I'll do what I saw Mike do for my research and how I'm feeling right now. And I pull out the thing and I insert it in like a key, and then I'll hold my hand up with the sword. And what happens?
So it still works. You weren't sure about what to do, but you insert that disc, and then it detaches from the thing, and you hold your arm up with your left arm raised high, with the sword in hand. Tabby appears from the morpher, going through a metamorphosis. Tabby emerges as a ferocious, full-grown female lion. And just like your regular thing, all that, you turn into your regular house cat companion ranger, but then you are immediately gifted with the power to defend. You gain some armor, you gain a cape, and I mostly want to lead this up to you because I wanted you to design it yourself.
Well,
But you feel yourself morph into your companion form, and then this giant this female lion that is now Tabby goes through you, and you get the cape and the armor and the mane. Your helmet changes in the face, and you are now energized before you. And yeah, lioness. But yeah, so you go through that.
I'm just gonna just start going, oh my god, I feel amazing.
Hayakawa's gonna be like, that's a battleizer.
Battleizer? You're right.
Yeah, through we had something similar for Kenta. It was mostly upgrades to his attacks, but in your world, these things bring about super forms. Basically, there are ways to upgrade and transform yourself in short bursts. You didn't just get the Magna Defender power; it upgraded your power because of the gold energy. It's now just a regular part of your companion ranger powers. You've upgraded your companion ranger powers.
This could be the thing that I needed to help defend my friends. I feel like I instinctively just know what Magna Defender meant now.
No, he saw something in you, and that's why he gave this to you.
I run out the door and I go, check me out! And then I point and I'm like, whoa, whose cat is that? I'm immediately distracted, what is that?
And I'll make you can find another photo to Tabby, and I'll add her a rollable token. But
Okay.
for now, we'll say she's next to you, but she is a full-size lioness.
Lioness, Nala.
I assume that like upon Charlie running out and there being a fucking lioness, Kemuri like jumps.
Kemuri bolts underneath the couch immediately.
There's a cat.
Just like yeah, that's Kemuri. I found him when we were in Terra Venture. Why do you have a lion?
I'm on the ground right now, looking under the couch, like I'm laying on the ground, like my stomach, like
It's fucking armor and a
I'm in this
cape.
badass armor. My cape is on me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like, oh my god, he's so cute. Where the hell did you get that thing? I'm totally like, and I look up and I'm like, oh yeah, what? Wait, sorry, what did you just say?
Where did you look cool as hell. Where did the lion come from? Because I don't think until that goes away that Komodi's coming out from underneath the couch.
Oh, sorry, kitty cat. That's Tabby, I think. She's like a lioness now.
And Tabby just lays down, paws crossed, just looking around.
I'm like trying to like pet under her neck, but you know, I'm just like, yeah. Remember the gold energy that surged into me whenever I touched the statue on K112?
Yeah.
We put them in batteries and we didn't know what to do with them. Well, while I was in that terrible ice prison, I met the Magna Defender, and before he sacrificed himself to buy me some time, he gave me his blaster / sword, and Hayakawa here, and I point at Hayakawa and I'm like, this man is a genius. He put the gold energy through it. It revived the sword, and instead of turning me into the Magna Defender like it did to Mike from Lost Galaxy, from the research I did, it like transformed my ranger mode, my companion range. Like, I'm not a yellow house cat anymore. I'm the lion defender.
That's really fucking cool.
Oh my god!
And the humble house cat, only to serve as a companion, is now a mighty, ferocious lion, ready to defend anyone at any point. And as you're excited and everything, Jiraiya and Hayakawa come out, followed behind you immediately. And Orion starts to come downstairs, and he looks at you, and he's just like, "Well, it worked. Not as expected, but it worked."
I'm gonna look at Orion and hold my hand out to like give him one of those like Schwarzenegger, Dylan, you son of a bitch handshakes.
Yeah, he accepts your handshake, and he's just like, "You got quite a grip now."
Sir, thanks to you and Hayakawa and just all of you, like, I feel like we're going to keep running into stuff like this. I have a battleizer that has powered me up, and I feel like now this is the power I've been waiting for to help me defend my team the way they deserve to be defended.
I don't know if any normal charge would have done this. It's kind of fate, if you believe in that sort of thing, that you just decided to touch the statue Jason had encased in gold and energize yourself with this energy. You were the one captured. You were the one Magna Defender entrusted with its powers that were diminished. I think it all lined up perfectly for you to get the power to show your inner courage to protect others. I know you were mostly a man of words and prefer to solve the problems without violence. But I think now you have been given the ability that if you have to go that step further, you will be able to protect and defend all those that you wish. And he's going to turn to Hayakawa. You did a good job. I don't think we could have done it without you. I'm glad that you're here on the team. Even though things go the way they might, you will get to go home. But this is something that's really going to help y'all in the long run, especially you, Charlie.
Now I really feel like I need to train my techniques more to make sure that I don't waste this gift.
You know, I know you tried to like do something the other day, I think, whenever we had that week off, but I did karate for like a decade. I mean, I still do, obviously, but like I had like proper training and shit, and I could teach you.
I think I would probably do better with a real trainer. No offense, I look at Allie, I'm like, no offense to the simulations, but I just haven't had a lot of luck, other than like the entertainment value of those things. I think I really get a sense of purpose when I'm with just a real beating heart, and maybe that would help me. So, Luke, will you please be my sensei?
Uh, I I mean, you didn't have to put it like that, but yes.
Sorry, I'm cheesy.
No, you're good. You're good. It's okay. Obviously not today because I'm still recovering from that headache, and it's been a long day.
That's understandable.
Unless anything else is going to happen, I'm going to go to bed.
No, you're all free to do what you wish.
I thought you were like, no, you don't get to go to bed. I
No.
was like, whoa, what's happening?
Luke
Simulation
just
room.
cries immediately.
Simulation room now. All of you unmorphed, Marcus and Axe, immediately.
Oh.
But yeah, y'all are free to now do whatever y'all wish. And Orion will say, to help you with your preference, you do have 2 Earths that y'all can choose to orbit around. Y'all can either go see how Jason is doing, and even though we were there most recently, time dilation works in mysterious ways. We can either go back to the turtles, or we can go see how Jason is doing, and orbit one of those Earths.
I wouldn't mind going back to K112 or whatever, just to show Jason, if we can run into him again, what his gold energy has done. Also, just to make sure, because I know that Rito was still doing stuff, kidnapping people, and I feel like the turtles have the Ivan Ooze situation handled. But if monsters are going around, maybe we could help out with that. Maybe to see if what was it called? What was
Stormblaster.
Stormblaster, to see if Stormblaster's doing okay, and just to check up on them. That's my vote.
I would like to check back in with Jason.
Okay, yeah. It's not going to change much, so Juan's vote doesn't matter. It's just somewhere for y'all to go, so y'all have things to do that are outside of the ship for the time being. So yeah. Orion's going to say, all right, Earth 1K12 it is. We'll catch up with Jason and make sure everything's okay. Allie set a course for 1K12. Might take us a bit of time to get there, maybe a week and a half. So you'll have plenty of downtime until then.
I think maybe I will try some simulated combat training again, just in the meantime while Luke recovers. So I'm not just coming off as like purely just unmolded clay.
I know you're probably not excited to do it again, but the Axe program should be ready in like 2 days. Maybe?
No, I'm just not. I'm not. That's maybe later.
No.
I'm not going to jump into that.
Also, Charlie, I used to help teach the kids class. Believe me, you're probably a lot better than most of the people I had to deal with.
I've taken down a couple of super putties, and accidentally did a lot of damage to some other things.
Yeah, so you're not entirely unmolded clay. And you need to go to bed.
Oh, I've got a lot of energy right now, but I'll try. I'm going to unmorph, and hopefully the energy will start to dissipate.
I mean, the energy's all in that. It's what brought everything back. It was a part of you at that point. It was on you for so long.
I'm excited.
Oh, yeah, Charlie's the first one to get a battleizer. If y'all want to think about it, y'all can. Y'all are going to get another week to do some stuff. If y'all want to think about it throughout this week before next session, y'all have that time. But yeah, y'all do wind up orbiting around Earth 1K12. Orion gets in contact with Jason, and it's time for y'all to learn about your first little tidbit of making good choices. Because y'all did not take Jason, Jason was able to be on Earth, his Earth, at the time Rito pushed for a major invasion, and because Jason was there, the invasion failed.
Hell yeah.
So, pats on the back for not taking Jason.
That's awesome.
So, but now y'all also know that if you take people, there are potential consequences for them not being there.
Yeah.
And,
So y'all
and,
didn't
and consequences for us leaving them there, I'm sure, too, but we'll have to
Yes, it can work both ways. But for this time, y'all didn't take Jason, so he was there to help keep Rito at bay during the invasion.
But he would have been a lot of help on Miranoi. No.
So yeah, so y'all kept Jason stay there. Things are pretty good right now. Rito is still a threat, but he is still recovering from his major push on Earth currently.
Oh, and then this is the universe where Dark Honda's floating in space, right?
Yeah, solid gold, yes.
So.
Oh.
Yeah, I was bringing that up for Luke to be like, wait a minute.
But he's solid gold unless someone was able to go through Jason's power, which is very difficult to do.
Yeah.
It's not
He's-
unfathomable. And if
It's
he
not
dies,
unfathomable, but he's most likely still out there in space, solid gold, and regretting his actions. So
we need to take a page from the Ninja Turtles book, get a hold of him, so we can put him somewhere safe rather than just letting him float willy-nilly.
I mean, he's solid. I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah,
fine.
but if somebody can detect that or run into him and they do something to him or crash
I
into
mean,
him.
they don't even have to like break this curse. As long as they can kill him within the gold, he'll just get resurrected outside of the gold because he has
Even
multiple lives.
It hits him if he goes to a black hole, if he goes into a star or sun, like he'll just come back. So we need to this is out of character. My character's not saying this.
Well, obviously.
James is I wouldn't be smart enough to James is like, shoot.
And if y'all want to, y'all can ask Jason about it. I mean, I'm not gonna stop you.
What quadrant of space did you leave him in? Oh no, I just tossed him.
I was pissed. I just tossed him out the airlock.
We might need to Ivan Ooze him and put him somewhere safer.
Yeah, potentially.
Have a shitty gold Dark Honda statue.
Okay. Now,
sorry.
So this is still an easy session. If y'all want to continue until potentially 9 o'clock, we can have y'all do some extra role playing. If Luke wants to try to give his first lesson to Charlie, perhaps y'all can do that. And there's probably a few other things, Luke, you would have noticed over the week or so, a little over a week getting back. Kemuri has gotten bigger, more healthy looking,
Mm-hmm.
You're not a veterinarian, but you know enough about health that you can tell Kemuri is much healthier, and he's really happy here on the ship. Throughout the week, he had been getting into places, people's rooms. The doors weren't acclimated to detect cats, so they weren't opening for him automatically when he wanted to leave the first few days. But Allie got it programmed to detect for him so he can leave at his own will. unless someone has their room locked to where they don't want the cat going in there. But if he gets stuck in a room, it'll open up for him. He's gone everywhere all over the ship. We'll say one of y'all was using the simulation room, and he got in there while y'all were using it, and he was freaking out a little bit because he was in a ship, and now he's somewhere on Earth, and we'll say there was nature parks, stuff like that, and he was like, "Oh my God, sunshine! Yes, thank God!" And then it ended, and he got really mad about it.
Oh.
So yeah, he's learning the ways of the ship. He ended up in Orion's quarters at one point. So eventually you were looking for the cat, and Orion just started coming down the stairs with the cat in his arms. Not quite the we don't need a cat, says the dad, but ends up being best friends with the cat.
I love that trope.
Because he was fine with the cat at first, so he just brings the cat downstairs and hands it to you during the week at some point. He's just like, "Yeah, your cat was in my quarters for some reason."
He's been exploring everywhere.
Can I ask Luke? In this time, did you take Allie up on the suggestion, or Orion up on the suggestion of sleeping closer to?
Yeah. He probably would have gone into his room when he said he was going to bed and then waited for everyone else to, go away. And then he would have, slinked his way over to where Dulcina's room is and just, passed the fuck out on the cot.
And did that help, Jay?
Yes, actually. Luke was asleep. Luke was skeptical, but Orion said it works, and he said he goes down there all the time. So Luke goes down there and goes to sleep, and there's a bit of a hint that the nightmare is going to happen again. But before it can happen, it's like a caring touch came over you, and you could kind of say it was like a hand on your head. Someone just there to protect you as you finally have a decent normal dream for the first time in weeks. And you get some really good sleep throughout that week if you continue to do it throughout the week.
Nice. Yeah, he'll probably sleep in there a couple times.
And if Luke's getting more rest, then did you also actually give me some training?
Yes. He would have gone over some basic techniques back fist, punch, jab, roundhouse, side kick, front kick, those sorts of things, how to block properly, that kind of stuff.
Thank you.
You would notice that whenever Luke is doing little sparring sessions with you, he's very bouncy. And he's very fast.
Yeah. And I just okay, this is kind of like your bread and butter.
So Charlie, if what you want to focus on during the week is, learning some stuff, whatever you're wanting to seek to gain out of it, maybe a fighting style that's actually a fighting style, or if you're wanting to up your, your actual attack to not flustered fighting, we can do that now. So you can go ahead and, if you know what you want, it's what you're trying to learn from Luke anyway.
We could call it white belt.
Yeah, because that's essentially what you're learning is white belt technique.
Do you want to roll for this, or do you want to take the default?
I will take the default, and I'm taking it slow and doing the very basic. But what I'm observing, and I'm trying to take it slow so I don't fail.
Okay, so you do change it into white belt. Luke, is there anything? Do you know what you would like to do this week?
I know what Luke wants to do.
What does Luke want to do?
Improve his animal handling.
Yeah, finally. Okay.
Because you would think that being part of a nature-focused ranger team, it would be better. And this is on Joe, the player, for not thinking whenever I was putting Luke together. This is on Joe, the player.
You have 2 chances if you want to roll for it. And I will say, because of Kemuri, you have advantage.
I mean, he's had a cat before.
This is a cat that has known nothing but darkness and coldness and is trying to recover from the trauma it's had its entire life.
This is true. This cat is built different.
Also, do you want the advantage or not?
I want the advantage, yes. Okay,
Jesus. So you're going to need to beat a 16, which is your social and your cleverness. 3 and 13, and you have an edge.
Can since Luke helped me with my basic karate, can I help Luke with animal handling?
I will let you do that since you had a mutual thing going on. Luke, you don't only get advantage, you get an upshift, so you don't have a 0. You actually have a skill die, which gives you a higher chance.
Yes!
There you go.
Yeah, no one had anything. So now I have and I am the whisperer of the beast.
Of cats.
Also, question, Jay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Logistically speaking, where is Angel Grove in California? Is it like in between Los Angeles and San Diego?
I think Angel Grove is just a replacement for Los Angeles, kind of like how Gotham is a replacement for New York City.
Cool.
Angel Grove, Reefside, and Mariner Bay are all on the California Bay coastal area.
I'm just gonna assume it's a Los Angeles replacement.
It probably is. It's kind of hard to say because sometimes I don't think they ever reference Los Angeles in the show. I think they just stick to fictional cities. But yeah, Mariner Bay, Reefside, and Angel Grove are all California coastal places for the most part.
Luke wanted to maybe drop by Las Cruces, which is where his university is.
Oh God. Yeah, you can, but you can also fucking teleport.
I mean, you said we were gonna go see Jason. I figured we were gonna be staying in Angel
You
Grove.
also have a car that flies in the sky and can hit like Mach 5.
This is true.